Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
How about that? That is a record. 2 seconds into DPL, we had to use the band button. The way this works, if you're watching on TV, thank you very much for watching. The Spot 66.1, it's on cable, it's on DirecTV Stream, and it is on DirecTV Stream now. We just found out about that today. So we got all these sources, but we have about a minute to a minute and a half pre-roll, if you will, on social media. And we already had a guy spamming like instantly. So I've already banned somebody before the show even went on the air. That is truly a record. How you doing, everybody? Hope you had a great weekend. You know, it was kind of, and first of all, if you're watching again on TV, I always suggest the best way to watch this show is to make it what it was designed to be, which is interactive. Way before this was ever on TV, we had a group of us that were always on social, and there was a lot of interaction. So you watch on the big screen where you can see all the maps a lot better, and you follow along on social media, which is always a good way. It's a win-win. We've got Amanda from Spring Hill. How you doing? Sarasota. Linda in Clearwater. Terry, how you doing? I'm already saying the band. Yep, already ahead of you guys on that one. Pennsylvania's in the house from Kathleen. We've got Lori from Spring Hill. We have got lots and lots of folks here saying there's a volume issue. Now, let me see if anyone else says that as well, because I can adjust the volume on this side, but I only, maybe my mic, no, I mean, I think my mic's okay. I listen to your comments, and sometimes people say it's a volume issue. I mean, sometimes it's your computer. Sometimes you got to turn up the volume on the phone or the computer. But, oh, we got Megan in the house with Sharon, Miami. We've got Lakeland. We've got Homosassa, Venice, Chad and Savannah in Tampa Palms, Osprey saying hi, Jewel and Parrish. Oh, my, Massachusetts in the house, April and Dunedin. Oh, my, we got lots of folks here. When you see this show, I know there are some folks who are just looking for weather 24/7 all the time. I ain't your guy. Look, if there's weather out there, I will be all over it. If there's significant weather, we talk about it 24/7. Shay and Allie and Jason and Greg, everybody's on it 24/7. But this show is not just a weather show. If you've been watching from the beginning, you know it's religious programming and inspirational programming. So says the cable guide. That's what it started as. Now I don't even know how to define it. But we talk local events. We talk sports, we talk movies, we talk what's happening in your life. We do a little bit of everything. So intermittently we throw weather in, and tonight we do have a lot of weather to talk about. So we're going to jump into that as well. But Bill Guac, you are right on the money with that. I'll use this as description again. And I'm not having anybody, I'm just trying to set the ground rules so you understand it. Because inevitably you get some folks, hey, what happened to the weather? This isn't what I signed up for. Or I'm not going to get my 2 minutes of my life back after hearing them talk about sports or whatever. It's what we do here. Might not be your cup of tea. Might not be. Hopefully it is. All right, rip to Penn State Nittany Lions football performance on Saturday against UCLA. One of the first times in history a team that was in the top 10 lost to a team that was 0-4 and had not been leading any minute at any game the entire season. And Penn State found a way to lose that game, being a Penn State alumnus. We are really bad. In addition, congratulations to USF. Big win on Friday night. Unfortunately, FSU, well, we've got viewers from Miami as well. So the Canes, even though the final score looked to be pretty close, it really wasn't a very close game. Miami dominated that game. And big props to the Bucks. Another cardiac kids performance. It made me laugh. We actually did a story today on what should you do if you have heart problems and you're watching the game. It's a true story. We did. Look, sports can have that kind of an impact on people. Some people just have to step away. You got to step away, right? So anyway, how you guys doing? Lots of folks in here, lots of folks watching on TV. I appreciate the loyalty. Let's go ahead and jump into what's happening locally right now. So if you're outside or even if you're not outside, check out the supermoon. So I've been getting a lot of reports from people saying the moon is spectacular tonight. And there's actually a lot going on. So we've had an easterly wind now for the last 4 or 5 days. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. Coastal flooding going on the East Coast. Not just from rain. A lot of that coastal flooding is going on because that really persistent easterly wind. I put up a 16-foot pumpkin in my yard this weekend. I'm doubling down. I mean, you heard me a couple of weeks ago. I don't care what's going on in the tropics. My Halloween decorations are going up. And I doubled down yesterday with a 16-foot pumpkin. It was blowing around all over the place, but it stayed put, sort of. Anyway, point being, we've had that strong easterly wind. That causes water to build up on the East Coast, all right? So right off the bat, you've got water building. Then you throw in a supermoon. You've got perigee going on, which is when the moon is closer to the earth, and that creates an additional pull. Then you got a king tide at the same time. Happens to be the highest tide of the month. So you got all that together, and there's some coastal flooding going on the East Coast. Not on the West Coast, only on the East Coast. Now, if we had a westerly wind, then it would, but we don't. We got an easterly wind. All right. Yeah, Bo's talking about that first EF5 in 12 years that they announced. Absolutely, Bo. So there was a tornado 3 months ago. It was, it takes a while for the powers that be to analyze the data and really come up with whether or not, because, sometimes the data is based on damage. Sometimes it's based on other factors, and it can take a while. So they just released, SPC just released the fact that, yes, there was an EF5. The first one since the Moore tornado, 12 years ago, I think it was, or Oklahoma. So, yeah, I mean, it's rare, fortunately, but they did happen. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in real quick about what's happening locally. All right, I'm trying to keep the commercial breaks in line here. We've got, is it Leona in Fort Lauderdale? How you doing? Good to see you. So there's that easterly wind, right? Joel, how goes it? Victory Monday for the Bucks. Couple of scattered showers out there. How about that rain last night in Pinellas and Pasco and Western Hillsborough? We got socked. Some serious rain out there. Upper 70s Wesley Chapel and Brooksville, 83 Clearwater, 81 St. Pete. Highs today hit the low to middle 90s. So there it is. Although Lakeland only hit 84. 87 Winter Haven. Why? Cooler inland, closer to that easterly wind and more clouds coming in. 83, another beautiful sunset. 83 right now at the airport. East-northeast winds at 10 miles an hour. USF colors. Ray J representing the USF victory. 92 the high today, 76 the low this morning. Denise, you're right. Ryan actually needs to give a tour of those Halloween decorations, and that's going to happen. It is on the entire East Coast, Michael, but specifically the southeast coast. There's that east to west wind, a few scattered showers this evening. Bahia Del Mar, Aggie, how you doing? Good to see you. Lydia wants some cooler weather. Well, we have got what the doctor ordered, Lydia. Not saying you need doctor's attention. I'm just merely saying we do have some cooler weather coming in by Friday and into the weekend. Bradenton's in the house. Donna is apparently in Bradenton and Maryland at the same time. Donna, that is impressive. There's that east to west wind tomorrow with more scattered showers in the afternoon. The morning will be dry. April said Dunedin poured last night. Oh, yes, it did. Gainesville said it never stopped raining there all day. That's from Joy. That's that easterly wind. Kirsten, how are you doing? Good to see you. Watching from Connecticut, houses in Newport Richey from Chuck. Hudson Marie, looking good. So on Wednesday, we see a little drier air, and then the changes arrive. And those changes arrive in the form of a cold front on Friday. So how cool are we talking? All right, well, how about this? Look at some of these temperatures. Here's Wednesday, highs in the lower 90s. Thursday, highs in the middle 80s. Friday, highs in the low to mid 80s. Saturday, highs in the lower 80s and morning lows in the 60s. How about that? As Mel Allen used to say on This Week in Baseball, dating myself big time. We've got tropics, we've got cooler weather, we've got the supermoon, and we've got 90 seconds. We'll be back right after this. First break is in. All right. So, yeah, anyway, I want to get Ryan. So I'm still working on the decorations a little bit. The lights work on an SD card, and the SD card is corrupted. So I got to redo all the sequences for the lights, for the Halloween lights. So once they are up and running, which should be tomorrow, that's a good idea. I'll call Ryan and say, hey, give a tour of the lights. But you guys know the Christmas lights are my love. I mean, I'm doing the Halloween decorations and the music and the lights synced and everything. The 16-foot pumpkin, the 12-foot skeleton, the inferno, the giant 16-foot black cat. Love it all. But that's the kids and the fam that wanted that. You guys know me. As of November 1, that all comes crashing down, and I start doing the Christmas decorations. I have added a few more. I've lost some, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for this upcoming year. All right, so yeah, everybody's talking about the moon. Yanks or Jays tonight? Boy, the Jays did a number on the Yanks, did they not? Lows in the 60s. Yes, it is, Ren. Okay, we're coming back in 13 seconds, so we're going to talk more about the cooler weather and the tropics. We are back in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Welcome back to The Spot, 66.1. Cable, satellite, streaming. We're everywhere. Dennis Phillips Live here to talk about what's happening in the world. Not just in the weather, but we're talking sports. The Yankees got manhandled the first 2 games of this series. Now the Jays. Blake Snell is shutting down the Phillies. It's no score after 5 innings. So Blake Snell, matter of fact, he might even have a no-hitter going. And if he does, I wonder if it's about time to pull him. If you're a Rays fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a Rays fan, I'm not even going to address it. But, you know what? They just got a hit. Did I just jinx that? Because the Phils just got a hit. So they're literally, maybe as I said that, they got a hit. So it's still no score, bottom 6, but there is now a runner on first and second for the Phils, for the fightin' Phils. Okay, so let's jump in. One more, go ahead and talk a little bit about the cooler air. So here's a look at the temperatures on Friday morning, still mild. The front comes in on Friday night. Saturday morning, mid-60s Citrus County, mid-70s Southern counties, highs in the low 80s. Saturday afternoon will be beautiful. Sunday morning, 8 a.m., lower 60s northern counties, mid 60s elsewhere. Afternoon highs, lower 80s on Sunday, low to mid 80s. Beautiful. It's gorgeous. Monday morning, lows still in the mid 60s, highs in the low to mid 80s, and then we start to warm up. So Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the tropics will not be the big concern for us. It'll be people enjoying the cooler air. Now, speaking of tropics, the new advisory is not out yet. I'm hitting refresh. But this is a look at what will become Jerry. Let's go ahead and go back and look at the tropics. Well, first of all, we're going to go back and look at the temperatures here. There is the low on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, looking beautiful. Now, you know what? Somebody just asked about, did you see the Bolts got fined for the game against the Panthers? I was going to talk about that, and then I'm going to jump it. Squirrel? That's the way I go. That was look, you know, anybody who knows hockey knows exactly what happened with the Bolts game. There's some Panthers fans here, I'm sure, because we're broadcasting in South Florida. Last year, the Bolts got manhandled by the Panthers. The Panthers out-physicaled that team. And the Bolts made it really clear in their last game that tomfoolery and those shenanigans were not going to play this year. The Bolts played the Panthers and got 11 billion penalty minutes in that game. Fight after fight after fight. And they did that, and I'm not John Cooper, I'm not going to speak for the Bolts, but anybody who's a sports fan or a hockey fan knows exactly why that happened. They were sending a message to the Panthers. Will it work? Who knows? But that message was, you ain't going to push us around on the ice anymore. We're going to be as physical as you are. I thought that was a really, really interesting game, and we'll see how it plays out. But literally, it was just fight after fight after fight. And by the way, it was a lot of the lesser-known players that took those minutes and got involved, because that's what you do. That's hockey for you. And that's kind of old-school hockey. So I think it's great. As a Bolts fan, look, I know we have Panthers fans here. The Panthers are awesome. They've won the Cup 2 years in a row. They're incredibly talented. They're a team that plays physical. The Bolts were not that team last year. This year, they've made a statement that they are going to be that team. At least that's what their goal is. All right. So, and by the way, I will be live Thursday night as the Bolts home opener is Thursday, and we will be live in Thunder Alley. All right. Oh, boy. I just covered this. Who's saying get to the weather? Guys, when are you I'm going to be polite and just say, look, we do a little bit of everything, okay? And as I said, we do weather, we also do sports. And you know what? When you get your show, you can do the weather all the time if that's what you want. You know what? And it works. Go on YouTube and make your own weather video. But for me, we talk local sports, we talk local weather, I talk Christmas lights, we talk my family, and we get to everything at the pace that y'all decide and that I decide. And if it isn't what you like, you know what? There's other places out there. That's my take. All right, let's go back. So we look over at the Invest. This is what will become Jerry. This will become Jerry, right? Steve wants the guacamole story. Okay, well, I'll get to the guac story if it happens again. All right, so this is a look at what we think is going to happen with the Invest. Now, look, it's going to go whoop, and it is absolutely going to curve. Why? Because that strong front that we just talked about is going to come in and actually end up down here, and southwest winds out ahead of it is going to force everything in this general direction. What is interesting is, will there be development along that stalled out front at some point? Survey says yes. Models say yes. But will this impact the Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico? All right? The models are trending a little bit more to the east. So here, let me tell you exactly what my take is on this. If this storm gets stronger, faster, it will miss the islands. If this storm is a little weaker, goes a little more west, because west is what weaker storms will do, there might be more of an impact on the islands, but it won't be as great. So stronger storm misses the islands. Weaker storm could impact the islands, but it would be weaker. All right? But what about the Caribbean? And what about the new update from the Hurricane Center? It'll be out in 60 seconds, and we'll have it for you in 90 seconds. All right, so I'm trying to be diplomatic. Phillies did not score. Judy, thank you for the update. I am trying to be diplomatic. And you know what? For the folks who are watching here on social, look, again, I'll say it again, guys. We've been doing this show for nearly 20 years with the interaction. It is all interaction, and we kind of do it at our own pace. And I say our because it is our show. You guys are letting me know when breaks are coming along. All right? So at the end of the day, here's the guac story for the people who aren't familiar. If someone invites you to their house, and you go to their house, and they have chips and salsa out, and you want guac, but they want to give you chips and salsa, do you walk in and say, hey, where's the guac? No. You hope that maybe they will give you guac, and if it's a good friend, I'm assuming they probably will at some point, but you don't just say, hey, where's the guac? You wait until the guac is introduced. That's what this show is. We get to everything, I promise. But to just say, hey, get to the weather, whatever, it ain't going to happen. You ain't changing me. It ain't going to happen. It's our show. This is the way we put it on, all right? So, all right. So let's go ahead. Let's look at the new update. Wait a minute. Stand by. We will be back in 3, 2. How you doing, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in tonight to Dennis Phillips Live. Let's jump in and see what we have from the NHC. Are there new numbers out? There are new numbers out. Let's take it full so you can see it. All right. Okay, so there's a look at the red, 80 to 90%. That has not changed. Yes, it has changed. It was 70, 80%. Yes, it has. So as of 8 o'clock, here are the new numbers, 80 to 90%. Satellite imagery indicates the area of low pressure about 1,500 miles east of the Windward Islands continues to be better organized. Environmental conditions appear favorable for further development of this system, and a depression or storm is likely to form in the next day or so. While it moves quickly west-northwest across the central Atlantic, system is expected to be near or north of the Leeward Islands on Thursday and Friday. Near or north, all right? So let's look at the models, shall we? See, I promised we'd get there. We are there. Now, that's the 18Z. I'd rather look at the 12Z. But let's call up 12Z and look at the cyclones. And here we go. All right, so a lot of squiggly lines, you say. Yes, it is. Here is a look at Jerry. Zoop. Now, almost all of the ensembles keeps this away from Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. It's close, but trends east, okay? So that's good. That is good. Look at the Caribbean. It continues to show potential development. But in this one, it's a little different because look at where the lines go. It goes along the East Coast. Why would that be? Because look at what the models are showing. And this makes a lot of sense. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, northeast of the islands, close but northeast. Thursday, Friday. Missing the islands. Close call, but missing the islands as a minimal hurricane. But look what happens. You get this front. See this front out here? Hold on. See this front off the East Coast. See it? See it drop down? What happens when a front stalls out along the East Coast this time of the year? Quite often, low pressure can develop along that front. All right? So, Look at what the GFS shows. There's the front, there's the stall, there's the low pressure. It's almost like we know what we're talking about, even if it doesn't happen. But there it is. So what that tells us is Jerry more than likely will stay just northeast of the islands, but it's a close call, too early to know for sure. Stalled out front, that brings us our cooler air. Low pressure develops along it and probably stays just east of Florida, but could be a very close call for the mid-Atlantic. That's the GFS. What about the Euro? What about the AI? I'll have that for you in 90 seconds as DPL continues. All these commercial breaks. All right, so here, let's go back. Okay. Not really a nor'easter, but I mean, for lack of a better description, it may start tropical and become non-tropical. By the way, look at oh my heavens, look at what we have again. We have another transfer of energy. Is that another Fujita? Look. Looks like it's absorbed. Because the low kind of hangs back there. I'm going to show that. That's kind of cool. All right, I'll show that coming back out. And then, of course, we are going to continue on social even after the TV folks are gone. Okay, TV's back in 25 seconds. What about the Bahamas? Wedding in Nassau on Saturday. Kathy, I don't think it's going to be great weather, but I wouldn't worry about a tropical system. All right? I don't think on Saturday you would have anything to worry about, but you might still have some clouds and some showers. All right? Yeah, Michael, there might be some beach erosion. You're right. All right, we are back in 3, 2. Welcome back to our final segment of Dennis Phillips Live. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. We have been talking tropics. We've been talking fronts. I want to show you something. We were just having a conversation on social, as we do. And after 7:58, you can flip over to social and ask all the questions you like. I will be here as long as you like. But one thing I noticed, Samuel, it will be windy on Saturday and Sunday. Yes, it will. Look at the system that I talked about moving up the eastern seaboard if it develops. The GFS develops low pressure on Saturday off the southeast coast. And then you've got Jerry. And look at the two interact with each other. You kind of got it going extratropical, non-tropical, and kind of being absorbed by Jerry. But then you look down the road, and you've still got that spin going on in the Caribbean around the middle of the month. The GFS will just not let it go. Nor do I think it should. Because I would be flabbergasted if we do not see development in the Caribbean this year. I would. I mean, it might not happen, and let's hope it doesn't. So, by the way, here's a look at the Euro, and it also shows that development off the southeast coast would not be the lead. And look at it go. Look at it develop. That turns into a minimal, 991. I mean, heck, the Euro turns this into a tropical storm, maybe a minimal hurricane, and it just sits there. Look at that. Look at that. So you get, that's not Jerry. So you get that front stalling out, just like we talked about, a little bit of development along the front, very common this time of the year. And then look at that, just kind of hanging out off the Carolinas Sunday into Monday. That is absolutely a possibility. And then we look in the Caribbean again, and you still see potential development out there. So here's the bottom line, guys. Cold front comes this weekend. Drier, cooler mornings, beautiful in the afternoon. Jerry will likely be developing east of the islands. A close call for the islands, I think a near miss. And then front stalls out off the southeast coast. Weak low pressure develops along it, moves up the eastern seaboard. Lots to talk about. I'm going to answer your questions right now, continuing on Facebook. Have a great night. All right, so DPL is out. And now I'm here for your questions. David, there's already been some snow. Matter of fact, you're going to laugh. I was watching the Wyoming UNLV football game on Saturday night. Yes, I was watching the University of Wyoming, the Cowboys. Josh Allen went there. The University of Wyoming Cowboys versus the UNLV Running Rebels playing a college football game in Wyoming, and there was snow on the ground. There was snow on the field. So there's already been snow there. Because I looked at it, I'm like, wait a minute, is this a bad picture? Mara wants to know where Phoebe is. Yes, you have to ask the folks at Tampa International Airport. They're the ones who know. Okay, so let's go ahead and answer your questions, shall we? No. First of all, let me show you a few more models, a few more updates. Okay? Yes, Bridget, on purpose. There may have been a bet involved with that. Just saying. So, anyway. All right, let's go. So the field was covered in white, Michael. It was funny. Yes, it was hail. It was. And it was covered in white. It was hysterical. All right, so there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, there's Thursday, there's Friday, but there is snow in the 10-day, and I will show you that. There's Saturday. There it is. Look at that, right? Look at that. Cutting off and just hanging out there. Saturday and Sunday. Look at that. And then we have, well, here, let's go ahead and just advance the maps here. By the way, we have a football game coming up. We have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars, Duval. That's coming up starting in about 10 minutes. So there's that development, and then you got the Caribbean just kind of hanging out there. Really doesn't do anything. Oh, wow. Look how far south that next front goes. Look at the Euro. Watch this again. I did not even notice that. Look how far south. Look at that front. All the way down to now that's, what day is that? Stand by. That is on the 20th of October. Look how far south that front goes. That's not the front we're talking about this weekend. That's another one. The Euro is in a big front, and that's the one that is going to bring snow. Check it out. So let's go ahead and advance this. Look for our friend and your friend, the 540 line. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's your development. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there's your snow. And then look at the next big drop. Look at your 540 line all the way down to Virginia on the 21st of October. Where is Sean? Chase, how you doing? Good to see you. Cruising out of Miami on Friday, ABC Islands. You'll be okay because by the time you get there, it'll be out of the way, Kaylee. So you'll be okay. There is the 540 line. There it is. That is on the 20th of October. So let's go back in time, shall we? There is today, tomorrow. There comes the front. Thursday. Look at that hurricane in the Pacific, by the way. Friday. Look at that development. Friday and Saturday. I'm telling you, the NHC, if the models continue to show this, the NHC is going to start highlighting that yellow area in a couple days off the southeast coast. And then it just kind of hangs out. And it even retrogrades. Look at the development. Up. And then kind of retrogrades back down again. And then goes back up again. Now, that's going to be Karen. Yeah, that looks like a Karen. Dan, how you doing? Yeah, Ronald, if that front, well, it looks like most of it's going to the east rather than the southeast. Look at where your 540 line is. Actually, let's look at temperatures. Let's go all the way out. Let's go all the way out with temperatures, 16 days, and see if it shows it. All right, here we go. So, okay. Oh, yeah, look at the cold coming in. Look, look, look. So this is on the 20th. 40s and 50s in the Panhandle from that. 50s in our northern counties. So, I mean, again, guys, it's 2 weeks out. It's 2 weeks out. So we take it with a grain of salt. But nothing unusual about getting a strong cold front October 20th, right? Jamia wants to know what she missed. I don't know, not much. You got a potential tropical storm or hurricane, probably northeast of the islands. You've got a front that stalls out across South Florida where low pressure develops along it and potentially turns into a tropical storm off the southeast coast next week. You got a big front 2 weeks out, dropping all the way down. Besides that, nothing. Cruise to Bahamas on Saturday, Beth. Let's look. Let's look. See, this is what we do. You know, we get to it at our own pace. We will not be rushed by get to the weather. Oh, it still just boggles my mind that people say that. All right, there's a look at Saturday. All right, here we go. Here's the Euro on Saturday. I mean, the Euro is developing this pretty quickly. That's Saturday right there. That would be bumpy. Let's look at the GFS. That's Saturday. It's a little faster than the Euro. A lot faster than the Euro, actually. I think it's going to be a little bumpy, Beth. I think it's going to be a little bumpy for you. Not going to lie. Are the Phillies losing? I'm not even watching, Michael. Oh, yeah, 3-0 Dodgers. Well, and Blake Snell is a one-hitter, so they'll probably pull him. Actually, in the 7th inning, they probably should. Although, I don't know, the Dodgers' bullpen is horrible. All right. True crime cruise out of Miami Friday to the Dominican. Should we be shaken? Well, how do you define that? I'm not sure how you define shaken, but I think it's going to be a little bit rough Saturday. Who you got in the game tonight, Maya? You know, I don't have a selection in the game. I don't even have a feel for the game, truth be told. I think Jacksonville is due for a good outing. And last week, the Chiefs kind of turned it around a little bit. So I don't know. There were so many upsets. There were crazy upsets this weekend. Teams that were down double digit, like 4 of them came back. The fact that Tennessee came back and beat Arizona in that game was shocking to me. Arizona was up 21-3. They had that game easy second quarter, and then they quit. Let's see, what else we got? Thank you. This is the FSU hoodie. It's our Rule Number 7 FSU hoodie. But you can get all the FSU, you can get all the Rule Number 7 merch for Christmas presents, for whatever, all donating local charities on Fourth Wall. Go to fourthwall.com and search Rule Number 7, and you will see everything. Candles, T-shirts, hoodies, tanks, water bottles, tumblers, everything. I'm going to start posting it for the holidays, I think. Yeah, oh, that's right, Eric, you're right. Missed the fastest ban in history. 2 seconds into the show, because I saw them posting at like 29 after while we were still not even on air yet. And I saw them post in the spam. I'm like, oh, you're going. Will there be a nor'easter in New England? You know what? I don't know if I would call it a classic nor'easter, but when you look at development, see, there's a look at the GFS. It does bring it to New England, but the Euro doesn't. The Euro takes it up to the Carolinas, and then it sits there, and then it retrogrades back south, and then it goes back up north again, eventually goes away. So too early to tell. I would say the best solution is to watch tomorrow as we have a better chance to see exactly what's happening with the models back then. Can we talk about heat lightning? Yes, the Bucks game is going to be great, Ronald. Great. Weather will be beautiful for the Bucks game. No such thing as heat lightning. You know that. Why do you call it the 540 line? Pat wants to know. It's a great question. It's called a 540 line because look at where's a better one to see it here? Right here. See the line right there where it says 540? It's the thickness line. It's a meteorological term. And when you see that 540 line, that is usually anything below 540 is freezing. Anything above 540 is not freezing, which is why it turns red at 544, because you're not looking at freezing. And it's blue at 540 and 534 and 528 and so on as it gets colder. But that 540 line is typically known as your rain-snow line. Jamia, we are not getting snow. However, I did post the Euro's seasonal forecast, and as you may have seen on Facebook when I posted it, it did have a trace printed out for our area north for the entire season. You know what? You can no longer say, it's not going to snow in Florida. There was a foot of snow in Florida last year. So we can no longer say, it's not going to happen, because it did. There was 10 inches of snow that fell in the Panhandle last year. We didn't get any in Tampa, but who's to say we might not sometime? I say keep our fingers crossed. October 20th, cruising Miami to the Bahamas, Shauna wants to know. If that cold front comes in, it could be pretty windy. Oh, Snell, yeah, Snell will get pulled, exactly. Where's Kevin Cash when you need him? He'll never live that down. I mean, he won't. If you're a Rays fan, you know exactly what we're talking about when Kevin Cash pulled Blake Snell in the World Series. You know, he'll never live it down. It's just one of those moments. I'm not even saying it was the right or the wrong decision. That's the coach's call. But when you've got a guy pitching a one-hitter and he wants to stay in the game and he's still got his stuff, you got to leave him in, especially in the World Series. You got to. Okay. Let's see. What else we got? Mike, that was insane. It was just insane. Yeah, I talked about Penn State already. Rip Penn State. It's horrible. Why did they cut the 540 line? I already covered that. I don't think so, James, nor would I ever want them to. Don't think so. No. You got your zip-up hoodie. How was it, Diane? I've not seen them. I have to buy them like you, so I don't, all the stuff. I bought 7 hoodies, but I did not buy the zip-up hoodie. Yeah, Joel, the Dolphins blowing that lead to the Panthers. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm scrolling down. San Juan, Puerto Rico. Gene, it's too close of a call right now. I'm inclined to think they're going to be okay, but it is too close of a call. 4-0 Dodgers now. Thank you, John. Will St. Augustine be in the path of a storm the 15th to the 17th? Gina wants to know. Let's look. No. Nope, Gina, you'll be okay. All right, let's go back. I'm going to go eat my dinner and watch Monday Night Football. How are the Keys looking this weekend for scuba? Mitchell, could be a little rough out there. That front comes down, maybe a little choppy. Maybe a little choppy. See ya, Michael. The yellow area down in Mexico is not a factor. Good question. It's going to go west. No big deal. Will the cold front lower the Gulf temp? Yes, it will. Shannon, it's a great question. Remember Wilma back late October, early November. Just because the Gulf cools down, it's still super warm in the Caribbean. So something can develop in the Caribbean, and yes, as it moves into colder water, if it's slow moving, maybe it'll weaken, but 9 times out of 10, systems late October into November are moving quickly. They're accelerating, so they probably would not have time to weaken that much. Don Gourmet's our storm chaser back in the day when he chased Wilma and Naples, said what he could not believe when he was down there was that the rain was cold. He had been in a lot of storms, and the rain was actually cold when he chased it. The kids are doing good, Daniel. Thank you. Yes, Josh was tobogganing on a food tray at FSU. That is correct, Anna Maria. Disney Cruise 27 to 31st. I would not be worried, Charlotte. I mean, yes, something could develop that late, but I certainly wouldn't worry. Disney the 16th and the 19th. Michelle, you should be fine. The Bahamas Saturday, Beth, again, it might be a little bumpy. Might be a little bumpy. How do you buy hoodies, Michelle wants to know. You know what? I will go ahead and call it up since I have not in a while, because it makes great Christmas presents and the money goes to charity. Hold on. Fourth wall, rule number 7. Okay, here we go. So this is the website. It's called Fourth Wall, FOURTHWAL.com. If you go on that site and search rule number 7, you'll see it. Here's all the stuff. Tumblers that we've created, water bottles, hoodies, different designs, tanks. There's the zipped up. The zipped up one was because of you guys. You guys said you wanted it. Saturday to Monday, all good, Michael. Yeah, you're okay. There's the orange and blue hoodie. There's black and gold. There's tees, hats, mouse pads, snuggle alerts, this coffee mug. There's some really cool coffee mugs, actually. So some really, really cool coffee mugs with cool colors, cool designs. So we have all the local schools, the state school colors in there. There's a heat lightning candle. So asking about heat lightning, there you go. You got a heat lightning candle and a snuggle alert candle. You got bags, all this stuff, rash guard. So there you go. So just search up Fourth Wall, rule number 7 shop, and you will see it. All right, so there you go, guys. I'm gonna have leftover Chinese food for dinner. That's what I'm having. And I'm gonna watch some football. And we'll be back tomorrow. Lots popping, lots out there popping. You know, the tropics, fronts, everything. And Thursday night, we are going to be live at Thunder Alley. I'm going to try to do DPL live there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I'd like to try. Logistically, it might be a nightmare. I'm not sure. If not, Shay will be here filling in for me, and then she'll do DPL on Thursday. So we'll have to see. All right, guys, have a great night. How does Aruba look for the next week or so? Stephanie, you should be fine. Storm should stay north of that. Boy, Roy, the Ravens have got bad injury problems, so I don't know. They're going to have to go on a run. Popcorn, right now, the plan is December 13th. The 20th, I'm the Grand Marshal of the Hillsborough County Boat Parade, or City of Tampa Boat Parade downtown. So I will not be doing hot chocolate on the 20th. Right now, we're doing it on the 13th. That's the only day. We'll see if we add a day, maybe Friday the 12th, but I'm not sure. But at this point, it's definitely just on the 13th. Scrolling down, your wedding on the 11th, you should be fine, Priscilla. Scuba diving in Belize. Right now, Joyce, you're looking okay. Way too far out to know for sure, though. Lake Swan, car show, October 16th to 18th. Craig, you should be fine. 10/17, no hurricanes through then, Susan. You'll be fine. All right, I guess that's it. All right, guys, love your zip-up hoodie. Took it on a cruise, kept the storms away. Louise, thank you. Bahamas cruise till Thursday. Through this Thursday, you're fine. Got nothing to worry about. All good. All right? So check out the supermoon and check out our website, fourthwall.com, for our merch. And we will see you tomorrow on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you.